103.3 KFR.
So last night I was at the vigil. The turnout was amazing.
Yeah, certainly was.
I loved your speech. I don't know if you prepared it or not. You spoke with such passion. It felt so off the cuff last night.
Yeah, this has been such an ugly event, and giving all thoughts and prayers to the families of the victims and all the victims of violence in our community. This is the time that we need to come around each other, and as I said, and I tried writing some words prior to the event, and it was sort of last minute that I was going to be speaking, and I get up. Typically, I write words and I think, oh yeah, I know what I'm going to say, and I get up there and I forget to even look at them, and
you poured your heart out.
Well, I guess you could say that, and it's just not a simple thing, and I think that with this responsibility that I've been afforded by everyone in this community, you have to be able to do your best in these terrible moments, and just know that you're not going to be perfect. And I just went where I went, and it just flowed out of my mouth, and hopefully it meant something to someone and to our community. So
it did, because you drew very important distinctions, because we were there for a very important reason, to honor the victims and the families of the victims. And I could tell it was difficult, but you wanted to make the point that this is something that needs to be stopped. We need to, we're putting the cart before the horse. Let's talk about prevention and why this is happening, so we don't have to be here honoring people that pass away in such a violent manner. And I could tell your conflict, because you didn't want to talk about gun violence. You didn't want to talk about the fact that there were over 40 mass shootings in the U.S. this year, and it's mid-February. But the fact of the matter is, we have to. That's why this happened.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We have to have this conversation, and I'm not some constitutional scholar, and I'm not oh my gosh, no one should ever have guns, but I am a believer that where we can prevent some things, how do we do that? Why shouldn't we talk about what we can do compared to don't do? What can we do?
Yeah.
And believe me when I tell you that I've said this over and over. If an individual picks up a gun or picks up a knife or picks up a brick, and they throw that brick, they shove that knife into someone, or they pull a trigger, that's a personal responsibility. I understand that. My feelings are that there are things that are preventable, and I'm not talking about preventable just regarding removing guns, but how have we in this community built a better path forward, working with people to understand their mental health and options, and regarding work. I mean, some of this stuff comes out of poverty, some of this stuff comes out of other realms, mental health, some comes from all kinds of places, not all the same place. And we don't know what happened with Mr. Dalton. Don't know,
right.
It's a tough conversation for this nation as we deal with this violence that's happening over and over and over.
It's a large puzzle,
yes,
but every little piece is just as important as the large pieces. So whether we're talking about guns or we are talking, and I don't mean to get political, but whether it's guns, whether it's healthcare, whether it's mental health, whether it's the community coming together without the violence, when you feel responsible for the people around you, less violence happens.
Absolutely.
And that's a fact. So just knowing your neighbors' names, this may seem insignificant, but it's important. It's one step. It's one piece of the puzzle. And we ignore those because we think those little things aren't going to matter. Mm-hmm. Every piece matters.
You are exactly right. And what I've been hearing from individuals yesterday, before this and after this, I kept getting, what can I do? What can I do? Well, we can't stop that thinking. That's the place we need to be in when it comes to violence, when it comes to literacy in our community, when it comes to our children's success. What can I do? And being willing to step up and us having an expectation that you will do. that you will be accountable in your community for the great things that we all love and the not so great things that we know that we need to find a path forward and do something about. So I'm hoping all 200, 300, 400, 500 people that showed up last night and all the folks on social media are not just chatting and liking and sharing and pointing fingers and
get off your
hugging.
computer and
But
go out and do something.
Yeah, it's about what can I do? Where can I step up? And I think I said that a little bit yesterday in this community to continue to make it a great place, to continue to make it better, to enter the conversations that are the tough ones, to get to know other people that are different than you, other races, other ethnicities, what have you. This is how we move forward. And if we don't find that space, who knows what the next ugly event may enter our community that we haven't prepared for or we have not stepped up strong enough around, I guess. So
Right.
I don't know. This is sad events.
It's hard for everyone. I think especially the random nature of this specific event has really shaken a lot of people to the core. And since we are a smaller community, a lot of people, if we don't know the victims, we know people that know the victims. It's been tough for everyone to deal with. But at the same time, when all the TV trucks from all the other states leave Kalamazoo, we still live in this great city. And it literally is up to us. And when I say us, each individual person, it just takes a little bit. We're not going to change gun laws overnight. We're not going to change the healthcare system or focus more on mental health overnight. So what can you do as an individual person? I think becoming that close-knit community and really making a stand makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Makes
a huge difference.
Absolutely. That's where the rubber hits the road. It really does.
And we were talking about this off the air. It's not like you're not getting a lot of sleep, not just because clearly you're in high demand right now, but you have a lot on your mind. You have to balance a lot when you have a situation like this happening in Kalamazoo.
And it does take that, and the uniqueness of this situation. So I'm the mayor of Kalamazoo. These incidents happened, one in Kalamazoo and two in other communities. But our public safety department has taken the lead on part of the pieces and parts. The sheriff's department certainly is doing, conducting their investigations. And this is a total team effort, Michigan State Police, everyone. But it's sometimes as mayor of the city, it was reported that Kalamazoo, Michigan. So then I get the calls and I get, they're approaching me. And so I see a larger responsibility, a community responsibility. I'm not the mayor of the community. I'm the mayor of Kalamazoo, but making sure that we as a community find ways that these jurisdictional lines don't really matter. In the long run, I think for most citizens they don't really matter. Where can I be a voice for our community and hopefully when necessary, and where can others be a voice? I would love never having had to have some of the conversations we've had over the last 2 days.
We held hands with strangers. We lit candles. We listened to words from many religious leaders from every faith. It was powerful. There were a lot of people. I felt it was a great thing. We simply have to not let go of those hands. And I realize how cheesy and cliche it may sound, but this is real. Everyone caring for everyone in a way that matters is just simply the first step.
Absolutely.
It is in our control. Things will happen we cannot control, but the things we can control, we need to be more responsible for.
Yeah. Exactly. I think you said it well. We know this was random. This was heinous. A sad situation, a sad man doing this. His family's hurting as well.
I can't imagine.
So you can't prevent all of that, but there are things that we can do. And so now that you've held hands and hugged and what have you, Now let's start talking about on Facebook and Twitter what I'm going to do. How are we going to continue to be Kalamazoo and build a great community? And that's Kalamazoo in the I'm talking region, and in Southwest Michigan and Battle Creek. How do we come together to say we can stand beyond this and we can make other great things happen? Let's do it.
Well, Bobby Hopewell, thank you so much for coming into the station today.
On your computer, smartphone, or tablet, WKFR.com.